Crawford conducts interviews in 11 cities across China and spends much of his time working airborne. Today, he and Chyou are catching the first flight to Shanghai. When they arrive, the sun is already up, and they hurry to the office to set up the equipment and internet connection. The group of interviewees today are from Shanghai and its surrounding areas, and consists mainly of teenagers that are everything but comfortable in front of a camera. But with the help of Crawford's relaxed and humorous approach, things quickly fall into place, allowing them to show their best side.
I think this interview was a really relaxing and a really comfortable conversation with the interviewer, because he asked me a lot of about my personal goals and my activities I did, so I can show a lot of things beyond my scores and my papers. So I think it's a quite helpful experience during my college application process.
Between interviews, Gloria organizes student material. Exhaustion is written all over Crawford's face. In the late evening, the couple boards a plane back to Beijing. To save the admission officer's time, they mark the most important questions in each video using a patent-pending method. By the time the plane touches down, all the videos are sorted out. This type of application is slowly gaining recognition, and even foreign students applying for studies in China are beginning to use it. The makeup of initial view interviewees has expanded from just Chinese students going to the USA to include international university and job applicants. Crawford's ambitions are not limited to China. He wants to make initial view a standard and has already made preparations to include several countries with large student populations like South Korea and India. And it's not just students. Several of the global top 500 companies have invited Initial View to help in their recruitment of Chinese personnel, allowing Initial View to expand into new territory.
So Professor, right now it's simply too tiring for Terry and Gloria in this business right now. They're sleeping at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. And of course, Terry's ambitions for this business is not simply limited to just China. He has global ambitions for this business as well. So going forward, what does Terry and Gloria need to do to ensure their expansion plans are a success?
Right. Well, I think there are 3 dimensions they can try to think about. So one is to engage deeper, right, with their clients and to make the demand for their service more solid, right? So they're now working mostly with universities and companies. So what they should think about is try to team up, build a strong tie with more universities, right? And hopefully, some universities are willing to turn these optional video into a required item in the application package, right? Which will certainly drive more traffic to the company, right? And then the second dimension Terry and Gloria can think about is to actually try to access more clients through third parties. They're now working directly with students or with universities, but what they can also try to do is work with third-party agencies. There are a lot of overseas study agencies in China and English schools, training schools like New Oriental schools, and these institutions typically have access to a large pool of students, right? So they can try to go hand in hand with these institutions and then try to solicitate more students, to use their service. That's the second dimension. And another dimension the company can think about is actually, team building. Because after all, Initial View is a labor-intensive business. They need more qualified professionals to help them go to different places and do the interviews. Because as you mentioned, Gloria and Terry, they're already really busy and kind of overloaded. So one option would be to hire retired, college teachers or former sort of college admission officers, right, who have all the experience and who also have some free time and are willing to help out with the business.
So, Professor, Initial View is trying to expand its business beyond just China, South Korea, and India. It's trying to get into these markets as well. And as we know, India and South Korea, they're also traditional powerhouses in terms of sending their students abroad. Initial View is also trying to get into the corporate recruitment business as well. How rewarding do you think these efforts will be?
You know, there are a couple of things that the founders will have to think about. One is, do they really understand this new market that they're tapping into? You know, corporate recruitment can be, in many ways, it can be different from university recruitment, right? So the requirements different. The qualifications that company look for in a candidate is also different, right, from college recruitment. And secondly, in terms of geographic expansion, they need to be very careful. When you go global, you know, expand into new countries, this will significantly increase your internal management and controlled cost, right? And you have to make sure that you have the right people, you know, and have enough management bandwidth to manage all these global expansions, right? So you have to have people who speak multiple language and who understand, you know, different parts of the world, different cultures, and then who can run business in a sort of cross-country manner. You know, the China market is actually big enough for them presently. I mean, there are millions of Chinese students who want to study abroad each year, right? And so the potential market size is large, and so they can just concentrate on the Chinese market now, and then try to, you know, team up with more universities or colleges in the Western countries. And once they establish a strong foothold in the Chinese market, they can then think about, you know, going abroad. Because I'm pretty sure that in other countries, as mentioned, you know, in Asian countries, there are also students who wanted to study abroad. So I'm pretty sure there may be similar business in that country already, right? So when you tap into a new market in a new country, you also have to watch out whether there is existing players in it, right? So if the market is already dominated by an existing player, it's going to be harder for you to tap into that new market. Right.
Certainly a lot more challenges for Terry and Gloria to think about, Professor.
Right.
Many thanks for your insights on this issue today.
You're welcome.
And on that note, we end this edition of New Money here on CCTV News. I'm Michael Wong. We'll see you again next week.